Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Well, 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 here we are. Down to the end of this season, and time to set the final 12 for the playoffs here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. And I'm your host here tonight, Eddie Smith, as we get ready to call all the action here at New Atlanta. The Super Speedway version of an old school track, quad oval, now been turned into a super speedway variety, and it's going to be an exciting race tonight for sure. Can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Big thing tonight, this race was supposed to be 3-4 races ago, but iRacing had an issue. We had to move it. So the cutoff race should have been last week at Charlotte, but what a way to send us off with a bang into the playoffs than to do it at a super speedway. So a lot of the folks already locked in. The playoffs not super close right around the cut line, but we'll take a look at it real quick. As you see there, John Anthony, they're 9 points below that cutoff line. And now one thing about it, these guys don't have to get 9 points. Matt Knights doesn't have to get 27 points to get up here and win this race, or to get into the playoffs. You just have to win the race. So John Anthony, who's sitting right below the cutoff, he has got an opportunity tonight to get up there and try to get a victory, and then none of it matters at that point. So Matt Knights, I don't see him in the list of drivers here tonight, so interesting to see him not even make an attempt, considering that anybody could win this race. As you look down the list, you won't be able to see this, but Doug Ellingson sitting there in 15th, Jason Kraft in 16th, and I think Brandon Barriers, a lot of these guys have fulfilled the amount of races that you need, and so all it takes is one victory, and then you're right into this thing. So guys trying to do get playoff eligible, But you see up at the top, Jake Ellingson, Jake Denson, Trevor McManus, they have really been the class of the field all season long. They've gone back and forth. The first 6 races or so was all them. They just kind of traded back and forth, all 3 of those with 2 wins. And then Patrick Drabick a couple weeks ago, able to get a dominant win after a heartbreak the week before, and was able to get himself locked in. And then Scott Phelps last week with a great strategy call comes away with the victory and locks himself in. So a big movement in the playoffs. Now Scott Phelps, to me, honestly, has been a really, really great driver all season long. So not surprised to see him in the playoffs. So Alex Cruz, you see Charlie Harcum there in 6, Alex Cruz in 7, Jamie Barkus, they got to feel pretty safe. Now, we got a lot of drivers here tonight, so once you get to Jamie Barkus and down, there is a lot of opportunity to lose. So Jamie Barkus going to feel pretty safe. There's right around 30 drivers, but it doesn't mean he's locked in. George Jewell, even less so. Chris Sawyer, fantastic race, fantastic finish last week. But tonight, you got to continue to build upon that, and you got to make smart decisions to not get yourself in trouble. And if you're Bobby Jermaine, Chance Taylor, you got to feel really nervous because it all could go wrong in just one lap here at Atlanta in the way these races go. So, going to be a fun one. I'll tell you what, though, we've got to make sure that we get our national anthem and make sure we get that in. So let's go ahead and jump over to Jared Ashley as he gives us our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, thanks to Jared Ashley for that. And let's go ahead and jump right into your grid. We'll see where everybody's starting here tonight. Starting on the front row is 2 Goat Locker teammates, Patrick Drabick and Jacob Ellingson, going to round out your road number 1. Road number 2 is going to be last week's winner, Scott Phelps, and his teammate, Charlie Harcum. Teammates, that'll be something that we'll be talking about as we get this thing rolling. Jamie Barkus and Levi McCarty going to round out 5th and 6th. 7th and 8th going to be Chance Taylor with Craig Von Traeger in 8th position. 9th going to be Ryan Pendleton with Brandon Barrier. Got to get the win tonight. So rounds out your top 10. In 11th going to be Brian Provo with Jacob Denson in 12th. Alex Cruz in 13th. 14th going to be Stephen Bartlett. 15th Doug Ellingson with George Jewell there in 16th. 17th Stephen McDonald. Chris Sawyer in 18th. 19th Mickey Isaac. And 20th Trevor McManus. Tyler Justice in 21st, Regis Clark in 22nd. 23rd, Bobby Jermaine with John Anthony in the 00 in 24th. He's going to have a good run tonight and try to get a win to get in the playoffs. 25th, Daniel Blow, Jeremy Gibbs in 26th spot. That's going to round out our grid as we get this thing rolling soon. Let's take a look at your race analysis. Well, let's take a look at the track first as we're looking at it there on screen. Hampton, Georgia. I mean, it's been around for a long time. Just brand new reconfiguration not too long ago in 2022, and now a super speedway variant. Once a really worn out track, lots of lanes, moving, but people thought the races were boring, and whether or not that's true or not is to be determined. I guess it's your opinion, but it's definitely not boring now, as we've got all the super speedway action you could ever want with this type of racing. Everybody is going to be packed up. We're going to have 2 lanes, and it's going to be a big chess match to see who gets the win here tonight. But a great track. Always enjoy coming to Atlanta, and it's definitely coming to its own. We'll see if iRacing starts to put in a little bit of the wear the track's been getting. That's something in real life has really been making the racing so much better. So we'll see if that is something that they'll do down the line. But tonight it's going to be gripped up. They're going to have all the grip in the world. And let's take a look at your race analysis. We get ready to go green here. Fixed setup, 100 laps. You do have that one fast repair that I think we'll see get used quite a few times. And then you got 4 tire sets, which I don't think are going to be that big a deal. But you never know. I'd be interested to see. I think that it'll be fun to see a super speedway that's like the old ones where tire wear is pretty important. But Patrick Drabick locked into the playoffs. Jacob Ellingson as well, getting ready to go green as they pull into the restart zone. And green flag is out here at Atlanta. So teamwork is something that we're going to be talking about a lot. You're going to see teammates working together. Patrick Drabick and Jacob Ellingson right there. They are on teammate together. Scott Phelps, Charlie Harcum in that second row, they're teammates. So you're going to be finding your teammates. Go see where they are and try to get connected with them if you can. That'll be the big kicker. Whoever is the best team is going to usually win these plate races if everything works out like normal. You can see sort of a separation as everybody getting a little easy. Jacob Ellington is going to lead the first lap. They're going to drop down in front of his teammate. And they will start to hook up, work together, and get that lower line going. You can see this little second group back here. You go back to about 13th place with Doug Ellingson, and they have already lost the draft here. So not pretty early for that to happen. You can see right out the front of Doug trying to get caught up. Looks like he might have the draft now, starting to pull back up to him. So that's good. You hate to see him lose the draft there early. No, oh my goodness, he's going to get loose. Caution is out. His car's going everywhere. And I don't know if Doug got a bad bump or what happened, but let's go take a look at it. As we were watching on board with him, he just goes around. Let's see. Going down to the corner. No, just get loose. That car gets loose, and he's trying to hang on to it. Mickey Isaac tries to hang on to it, and I think that's George Jewell that went around. Daniel Blow with a good amount of contact here. And oh, my goodness, it looks like Jamie Barkus also involved in that. A couple of the drivers. You got to see Daniel Blow there is the 08 of Brian Provo, and Charlie Harcum also went around, so he was up at the front. So this happened in front of Doug, I think. Yeah, this is up at the front of the pack. So we saw 2 wrecks happen there. Let's see what happened with Charlie. Oh, Jamie Barkus gets loose in front of the front pack. And I think Doug Ellingson was actually trying to avoid it. He saw what was happening and maybe was trying to avoid it, but they both get loose. Watch as we go right here with Jamie Barkus here, and we'll go on board with it. And you see, oh, it's so hard to see this. It'll be so fast. Well, let's go watch it. You're going to see the balance of the car get kind of messed up here. You hear him lifting. He's going to go to the outside here, and he's going to shift weight to that right rear. As he goes down the course, he's going to move up the track. And when he turns here, he shifts the weight to the right rear, and the car just comes around. And when he does, man, just calamity. There's multiple drivers involved there that all started with Jamie Barkus. So not the way they wanted to start this race, that's for sure. And so Jamie Barkus going to have some work to do if he's going to get back into this thing. He's got to come down and get his fast repair. So a lot of fast repairs used before lap number 5. That is big. That is big for some of these drivers. Now, Barkus, I said, was pretty close to being locked in, but, I mean, with 26 drivers, he's all but good, so he should be okay. But there are some drivers that can't afford this. Chance Taylor, one of them. He's come down to get some damage fixing that number 14. He can't afford to have a bad race. So some drivers in the championship hunt involved. Charlie Harcum, pretty good on points, so you don't have to worry about him, but he was involved as well. And then you go back to Doug Ellingson, who I don't think he got that much damage, so I think he'll be okay. But you don't want to get in trouble early because Doug, while getting in on points is going to be close to impossible, being so far back, he can win and get in. So Doug has to be careful here. I think he was a little nervous. I think that's why he spun out. He saw it happening up in front of him. He got on the brakes and got a little bit loose. So good heads up by Doug to while he spun himself out, he didn't get involved in the wreck out front. And I think that's important to stay in this thing, because if you can get that win, you're right. You can jump over a couple folks, and right around the cut line here, as you look there, Chance Taylor, like I talked about, he's back in the 21st spot. He does not want to see anybody jump and win a race, because he'll get knocked out. So a lot that can happen here tonight. All right, we get ready to go green here. So a cautionary tail is right there. I mean, that's something that a lot of folks will kind of figure out at this point. Is be watching out for that car, that weight transfer to get a little bit loose. You don't want that to be you don't want that to be something that happens to you. So I think Barkus kind of let everybody know that, hey, you better be watching out. So we got a lot of fast repairs that are gone. Provo, Harcum, Barkus, Doug Ellingson, Daniel Blow, Chance Taylor, all fast repairs gone. But we're back to green flag racing here on lap number 6. Jacob Ellingson going to get a great jump with his teammate Patrick Dravick right behind him. We'll see if we can get we're already. Oh, Doug Ellingson, no, he just took his fast repair. And he's gone around and he's missing his back bumper. We're just talking about Doug and his ability to maybe win himself in, and all of a sudden, let's go back and see what happened. My goodness. So pace car pulls off here. And does he get run over? Is that what happened? He's not going on the start and actually comes to a complete stop on the track at the start-finish line and goes around. Let's see if maybe he missed a shift. Let's go on board with Doug here. And I think the 2 of Jeremy Gibbs is the one that gets in the back of him. Yeah, shifts down instead of up. Oh, my goodness. You can hear just one more time. We'll try to listen in. Right. Instead of shifting to the next gear, which is 3rd, he shifts down into 1st, and it just dies on him. Go on board with Jeremy Gibbs and watch this. You're going to see that red car come up quickly here. And to his credit, he did try to get out of the way. You just don't expect that to happen, and unfortunately it did for Jeremy. So pretty messy here to start. I know these guys ready to get this thing rolling and maybe get some laps under the belt. Got 100 laps in this race, so. under caution number 2. We'll take a look at the weather and see. Oh my goodness. Well, that may be why. That may be why we've had some trouble. As you look at the track temp there, 131 degrees. That is really hot. And the air temp's only 78. So how it's 131 degrees, I have no idea. But I love these settings because it definitely makes you think about it. I mean, we already saw with Barkus, you have to be careful because it will definitely get you. And we're seeing, wow, 131 degrees is pretty wild. So all right, the couple drivers, Steve Bartlett. You see here in this 39 machine, he looked like he took a tow. And he is currently running in the 26th position last. He's going to get a wave around here, which should give him 1 lap back. So he is 2 laps down. He's the only driver that is a lap down at this point. So a couple more cautions and he'll be right back in it. But early issues out of that number 39 machine. He goes around and gets caught up. But back up front, not much has changed. You know, Barkus has been able to get himself towards, the top 15. But up front, it's been really quiet. And I think right now at this point, I would imagine race control, the admins are probably saying, hey, guys, let's just back it down, take it easy. Let's get some laps under our belt. We want to do a little bit of racing here tonight and calm everybody down because it's easy to kind of have folks get upset, start getting irritated, start making wild moves. Just need to calm down, get into a rhythm, and try to get these laps under your belt. But going to get ready to go green here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of green flag racing. Like I said, tonight, if you're just joining us, it's a cutoff race. This is going into the playoffs. Top 12 will move on into points. Currently, Chance Taylor, who is back in 17th, had a 9-point advantage over the cut line coming into the race. John Anthony, -9 under the cut line. And right now, John Anthony running in the 11th position. Chance Taylor in 17th. So it is definitely possible for that to flip-flop as the race goes on. Green flag is out, though. Patrick Rabbit going to take over the second spot. Jacob Ellingson going to drop down in front of him. And Brandon Barrier, they're in that 53 machine. He has been excited. We've seen him talking about this race. And he goes up to the outside, not willing to run by him or run down there on the bottom. Unfortunately, he is going to get left out to dry here as he's going to go to the back. But you can see how excited he is. He's ready to go. He knows he's got to win. And that is a ooh as he gets close to the wall. But he has got to get a win here tonight. He is too far back on points. And he's going to drop back behind Jacob Denson. But it's a great position to be in. He's not worried. He's only got one goal. There's only one thing he can do, and that is win the race. He doesn't have any other objective. He doesn't have to worry about points. He's not worried about who's where. He can just pin his ear back and say, hey, look, if I don't win the race, I'm out. If I win the race, I'm in. He started in the 10th position, and he is doing exactly what he needs to do to get this thing back on the pit road. While we're doing this, I'm seeing looks like Mickey Isaac has had some sort of issue. He is down on the bottom of the track. I don't know what's going on with him. But he is down on pit road. Maybe we can go back and see exactly what happened. Go back and take a look, see if we can see what happened to Mickey. And it's the same thing. He gets loose. Gets loose in the pack. That 131 degrees is getting him. Watch right here as he's going down into turn number 1, up on the high side. Well, same thing we saw with Barkus. And everybody gets through, it looks like, is Mickey going to have to go down pit road. And coming out of pits now with that faster pair. But he is going to be a lap, maybe 2 laps down. So up front, what we want to see is how much like a plate race is this going to turn into. You see Brandon Barrier jump up to the outside in front of Alex Cruz and Ryan Pendleton, who are kind of trying to make that top side work. But Brandon Barrier says, I'm here with a clear objective, and you're going to push me to the front. You see Brandon really getting loose off the corner. Going to have to be careful. We've already seen that be a factor And the way the track temp is, you see the spread of the field. Everybody spread far out. I mean, first all the way back to 20th is 8 seconds. So they are definitely spread out, handling a massive issue at the moment with that track temp. So we're seeing guys really have to pedal it. Be careful. So I think maybe those tires will be a factor. It will be something that we'll have to pay attention to. You know, I said 4 tires in the race. I don't think they'll need them, but the way things are going, the way it looks like handling could be a factor, especially with this track temp. And you can see trying to get that top side working, Alex Cruz is just not able to do it. Pendleton trying to get that thing going, but just not quite able to do so at the moment. And you can see just how separated the whole field is. We got some folks like the Indy Autosports guys of Trevor McManus and Regis Clark doing their normal, hanging around in the back. And you can see those two just hanging around, waiting on the wreck to happen. You know, normally I think I like that strategy, but the way this track has matured and changed, I just don't like it. Right now, they're 13 seconds back from the main pack, from the leaders. So I don't know if it was such a good idea at this type of track, because they really are hoping for that caution. If they don't get it, they're in danger of going a lap down, though caution is out right on cue. And oh no, it's Brandon Barrier. Or at least he was involved. I can't see where it started, but we'll go back and try to see. We'll take a look here on the replay, but Brandon Barrier falling through the field. We'll go up here and see if we can see. He was running in the 4th position. Right here, Alex Cruz is going to go up to the outside. Brandon Barrier going to go down. Oh, he's going to get a little out of shape. Hits Alex Cruz. Ryan Pendleton makes more contact as the 18 of Levi McCarty makes a little contact there, and then the 15 of Jamie Barkas down to the inside wall, and he's going to just exit out. He toes his, he may have had some sort of damage. Let's go back and watch. Go back just a little bit and watch from his point of view. Here we're on board with Barkas. His Barrier just could not figure out where he wanted to go. He wanted to go up block, then he decided to go back down, got a little out of shape as he gets close to Jacob, and that car just gets out of hand right here. You're going to see him, right up the track. You see somebody right in front of him having the same issue. And Jamie looks like he had it saved. Oh, and just couldn't do it. And hits the inside wall. The damage didn't look bad enough, so I don't know why he exited out. But regardless, he is now getting a tow, and yeah, he has called it quits. So Jamie Barkas is out of this thing. I think he was 29 points above the cutoff when he came into this race. Only 26 drivers here tonight, so I think Barkas is going to be okay. And I think he knows that. Just needed to start the race, and I think he is okay. So I think after that, he said, I've had enough. Going to call it quits. A lot of folks come down pit road. 2 or 3 that did not was Levi McCarty and John Anthony. Right, that guy right there on the cut line, right below it. Trying to position himself in a spot where he can get as many points as possible. He is running 2nd, Chance Taylor in 8th. Now, John is not just racing Chance Taylor. He's also Bobby Germain, who is 1 point ahead of Chance Taylor, Chris Sawyer. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to have the final points as the race is over with. I don't have live points tonight. It was going to cost a little bit too much money to do that. But we will give you the final 12 as the race is over. So definitely stick around after the race and see who makes the playoffs, who's going to get themselves in. Should be exciting. So a bunch of fast repairs used. Charlie Harcum, talked about him already. Alex Cruz, Chance Taylor, Ryan Pendleton, all those used a fast repair there. Scott Phelps used his. Mickey Isaac, after he hit that wall, or he got loose, he did hit the wall. He has used his fast repair as well. Brian Provo, Doug Ellingson. Doug Ellingson actually has so much damage, he is on pit road trying to repair it, but he's a couple laps down, so his playoff bid likely over. especially with the damage that he has. Look here at Doug. He is getting a lot of it fixed, so we'll see. There's still a chance as long as the bumpers are on it and the wheels are straight. So we'll see, excuse me, if he's able to figure out a way to get back up there and get this thing done. But Levi McCarty, John Anthony, I think this will be an interesting part of the race. How will no tires versus tires? How big a difference is it going to actually make? You know, normally at super speedways, you don't even take tires. But with 130-degree track temp, we've already seen guys really struggle to keep the car straight going into the corners. The car is just a little bit slippery, and that's making for some interesting racing. How big a deal is tires going to be whenever you're having to pedal it and you know, try to keep it from spinning out? Tires will be a big factor. So we'll see here how that makes, you know, we'll see where Levi and John end up as we get ready to go green here. Will tires make a difference? It's like Jacob Ellingson in the 5th position. He is the first one on tires. Levi McCarty, they're going to get away with a big jump. He's trying to get gone. And you can see John Anthony not having a great restart, kind of gets left out to dry there, and he is falling like a rock. Can't get anybody to help him. As here we go, we got 3 wide again, as here comes Chance Taylor to the inside. That's who he's racing. Those guys are racing for that cutoff line. Oh, he's going to put him in the wall, and the 00 gets into it, gets off. That Fastenal is still going forward, but a little bit of contact there, and that was almost disaster for John Anthony. So you can see those tires, at least on his 000, he is definitely feeling how big a difference it's really going to make. Now up front, Jacob Denson taking over the lead, going to the outside of Levi McCarty, who Levi has been doing okay so far with the tires. So I think maybe the 00 maybe just a little bit nervous, especially when he got put 3 wide. But Levi holding pretty strong there on the bottom, but you can see maybe that's where the tires are starting to make a difference, is Denson able to stick with him on the outside by himself. Now, Denson, I think, maybe only took 2 tires, so that may be the difference why he's not able to go up there and just take it. You see Ellingson all over the back bumper of Levi. And then right behind him, Patrick Rabbit. And it looks like Pat's actually still looking at the Rockets' red glare there. As man, that is some brightness he's got. He does live in Indiana, so I don't know how his pigment is, but he's locked in though. He's focused, sticking with his teammate. You can hear the lift as they go down the corner, trying to keep that car, because if you go down full throttle, it might hold, but we've already seen guys get loose. Good way to keep it from doing what those guys have had trouble with is to lift off the throttle so the tires, rear tires, don't spin. It's a good way to keep that car stable. So you hear them lifting, working the throttle, just trying to maintain that track position. That's what you got to do here. And you see Jacob Ellingson all over the back bumper of Levi here. Oh, man, Jacob, big bobble out of him. Goes up the racetrack. Patrick going to let him scoot back in. And here comes Chance Taylor. As they kind of bobble and get checked up, Chance Taylor making the outside work currently at the moment by himself. Going to fall back in line, but he gets up into the top 5. He needs a great race here tonight. So far, so good. Doing a great job. Oh, my goodness, as they kind of bobble a little bit. As here comes Alex Cruz and Ryan Pendleton again. They have not given up on that outside line. Ryan Pendleton been working together really well with Alex, and they had already all but got to the front until Brandon Barrier had some sort of issue. And here comes Tyler Justice up to the outside to block that run. What's different about this this type of race, as here comes Jacob Ellingson down to the inside. Levi going to get left out to dry. No help. Now, what's different is a lot of these guys are used to the plate races of Daytona and Talladega, where you jump up in front of the line and you get pushed up to the front, but it doesn't work here. It just doesn't work like you think it does. Working together in tandem, It's an interesting style of racing. Like, you can work together to an extent, but there has to be a point where you pull the trigger and say, hey, I'm going to make moves on my own to get myself into position. Because you see how tough it is to pass. That outside line is just not there. And especially with how slick the track is, it makes it, extremely nervous on the outside, it seems. So you could see Tyler jumped up in front of that top line of Alex Cruz, and it just killed that line. And that outside line just dissipates. Have some issue, Brandon Barrier. Oh, no. Brandon Barrier, one of the drivers who needed to win to get into the playoffs, he is missing his entire front bumper, and I don't know if that was from previous caution or what, but he has not used his fast repair, so he will come in and take that, but he is going to go one lap, maybe two, he has major contact. We'll see if we can go back and see what happened to him. Oh, man, it just gets loose again. The same thing that happened last time, and he makes contact, big contact with the outside wall. And Doug Ellingson down on the inside as Mickey Isaac was trying to avoid it. My goodness, a lot going on in this race. Brandon will get his fast repair and get back out there, but he is going to go one lap down. We'll see if he can stay ahead of the leaders and just go one lap down. He will be the lucky dog recipient if he can stay on the lead lap, and he is going to get swallowed up quickly, though, if he doesn't get that caution soon. Well, Jacob Ellingson taking over the lead. He's won 2 races this season. Patrick Drapick has won 1, and then Jacob Denson right there behind him has won 2. So winners up at the front. They know exactly how to get up there and be a part of that front pack, and they know how important it is to be in that track position towards the end of this race. It's going to be very difficult to make your way from the back to the front. It just doesn't work like that here. And people are finding that out. They're seeing how difficult it is. That outside line just really struggling to have any kind of momentum. And this is the first time in 33 laps that we've seen anybody or any group of cars be able to kind of be in some sort of order here. And Levi McCarty on those old tires, he is the one leading the charge with Alex Cruz behind him. Oh, my goodness. Levi gets extremely loose. I don't know if you saw that on the broadcast, but the 18 car got extremely loose. And now he's going to have a car tucked up right under his bumper. Will that affect the handling as Jacob Denson disappears for just a moment? And now Levi has gotten up to the second place position. He's really making a lot of headway here. He is up to the lead. He's side by side with Jacob Ellingson as Alex Cruz is trying to give him a push going down to the corner. You can hear how he's lifting off. This is on board with Alex Cruz. And, man, you can see Levi loose there in the middle of the corner. So uneasy. But Alex is getting a big run here. Going to get right to his bumper. You don't want to push him, but if you can get right to him, that'll help. But I think that's making Levi feel real uneasy. But Levi is making it work. I mean, anybody else would have wrecked at this point, but he is really holding on to it. Let's go on board with him. On board with Levi here is, here comes Jacob Denson to take over that. Look at him, he's loose. Oh, he gets right. Jacob Denson gets in front of him, and they make contact. They're wrecking everywhere. Ryan Pendleton involved again as Regis Clark is going to dive down to the inside to try to miss it. Everybody's slowing up, but we saw it happen, and as soon as the 7 jumped up in front of Levi, he lost the air on the front of that car, and he almost went around. Let's go back and watch that from this view. Look right here. He's getting out of shape, goes up the track, makes a little bit of contact, trying to hang on to it. 23 gets half spun, but honestly does a great job. Ryan Pendleton, what a great maneuver for him. We'll go back and watch it. Put the little focus camera on him. He's going to make contact. He tries to avoid this. Going to come down in front right into Charlie Harcum, and they kind of set each other and keep each other from wrecking there. What a great job by those guys to not have this be a terrible, terrible end to their season. and they both able to get through without much issue. So, yeah, this has been an interesting race so far to see how the air and the track temp being so high, all that has affected the way these guys drive. I mean, Levi was good. He had somebody tucked up under his rear bumper. It was making him a little bit loose, but he was able to really handle it. But as soon as Jacob Denson pulled up in front of him, you see just the downforce he loses on the front of that car, and it just became too much for him to handle, and he couldn't hold on to it. So he'll come down pit road, obviously going to get some damage fixed. We'll check and see if he uses his fast repair. He's going to go down pit road, and looks like he is going to use that fast repair. So Levi McCarty now with a fast repair used up, and I think majority of the field, or at least over half, which is also known as majority, has used their fast repair, and we're not even halfway in this thing. So you know, and I talked a little bit earlier about, well, maybe, you know, maybe the you wonder if the admins are saying, hey guys, calm down. But so far, what we've seen is there's nothing that can really be said. This is just an awful combination that they're really pushing these guys to the limits. Nobody's being too crazy. Nobody's being too wild. That wreck right there was not Levi doing anything wrong. It was just the way the track, this combo is working out at the moment, that is very difficult to handle these cars, and they're doing the best they can. And I mean, there's really nothing that you can do. You can go get your tires every time you have a caution, but you only have 3 extra sets in the pits. You had 1 that you started on and 3 more, so you can't use those up early. So a lot to think about here, and it's not people doing wild things. It's just the issues of trying to hang on to this car at the moment. We'll see if the track temp has gone down or gone up, and it's relatively the same. It's maintained the 131 that it was when we started. And I would say a hot track is right around 120 degrees. I think if you pull up into a session and it's 120 degrees, you would say that's pretty hot. 100 degrees, 110, you kind of medium. But 131 is just wacko. That is crazy. So no wonder these guys are having a tough time, but that's what you want to see. You want to see it put in the driver's hands, and tonight, that's what it's been. And Jacob Ellingson, Patrick Dravick, Jacob Denson, they have been up front this whole time and have really managed this race really well. It's a game. You can't really pull away, so there's no point in trying too hard if you can just get up front, maintain your track position, and just try to stay up front, not let anybody get to you. That's sort of the plan. That low line's been too strong. The outside really hasn't seen much momentum. Nobody really able to make it work. Levi was the first one that could actually do something up there. And you see just by one person pulling up in front of him, trying to, do a Talladega Daytona type, jump up to the front of that top line. It's just not going to work tonight. So going to have to change your strategy, figure out other ways to get it done. But Jacob Ellingson going to lead us down to the green flag. Green flag is out. They should get the run here. Ellingson should drop down in front of the 07, and that's exactly what happens, and all the racing is going on behind them as they go double file. You don't see too much 3-wide action, and if you do, it shouldn't last very long as, man, those two get out way out front as Tyler Justice there on the outside trying to get some momentum up. And Chance Taylor there on the inside. Tyler Justice going to jump down to the inside of the 7, take over control of that bottom line and let Denson run himself. Look at how much the parachute is on those Goat Locker cars as, man, the pack caught up to them quickly as they get rolling with that momentum. Here comes Jacob Denson on the outside. He's getting a run. You can saw he had a really good run until he comes off the corner, and he had to scrub off a little bit of speed. We'll see if he can continue that trend. Alex going to drop back. You see Alex Cruz on that number 5, that red 5, was lifting pretty hard on the entry of the corner. But look at Denson, man, making it work here on the outside, and he is going to draw even as they go into turn 1. You hear him have to lift as that car gets a little bit tight on the outside, but the big run down the back straightaway, that's going to push the 7 out front. Jacob Denson Going to be the first driver tonight so far that has made this outside line work. Can he complete the pass, though? That is going to be the tricky part. He does have Brian Provo and Alex Cruz, but Jacob Denson really on an island as it's a lot of goat locker around him. So we'll see if he can continue and maintain that position. I know he'd love to see Charlie Harcum and Scott Feltz get up there, but they are kind of mired in the back in the middle of the field as, man, whoa, Provo gets really close to the wall as Ryan Pendleton is going to pick him up. But that was a close call. You can just see how tight the car gets off the exit of the corner on the outside. That's why I think the bottom is the safest place to be. But there's cars in your way. You can't use the bottom. You got to try to go to the top. And Denson trying to make it work, but if that outside line falls apart like that, it's just not enough momentum to push him out front. And honestly, Patrick Drabick's doing a great job of working with Ellingson there on the bottom. We talked a bit before the race started about teamwork, and right now that is what is keeping those two cars out front, is the teamwork that they're doing to make sure that he stays as close as he can to the 27, and they're able to keep that momentum on the bottom. If Patrick has to lift too much or gets out of shape, that outside line will pick up a head of steam, but as long as the 07 stays right tucked to the back bumper of that 27, he'll be okay, and that bottom line will stay dominant. Your lap down situation, Stephen Bartlett is currently your lucky dog candidate if a caution comes out, although he is 3 laps down. Going to need a lot of help to get that 39 machine back up into the mix. So Jacob Denson gives up on the top line, going to drop down to the bottom, right behind the 07. Car not feeling like he wants it to. You can see Alex Cruz push up high, but here comes Brian Provo pushing that number 5. Let's see if they can make it work. You can see Provo actually kind of gives him a little air shove down into the corner. Man, look at Alex Cruz having to scrub a lot of speed off there as on the exit of the corner. And that's the difference between this track and Talladega and Daytona. Oh, as Provo gets a little bit loose there. Scary moment as we were on board with him. But that's really a big difference between the two tracks. I mean, having to lift off the corner like they are and getting so tight, having to put a lot of wheel into it, keeps them from being able to use that run off the outside. Normally you see the outside get massive runs from here on out. So we got some smoke on the track. I don't know what that's all about. But right here, you would get a massive run off the top side. But if you're not able to keep the momentum going, that run kind of stalls out before you can get it going. But, man, Patrick Drabick drops off the 27. And look here. Oh, caution is now out. Oh, and Regis Clark wrecking up on the wall on the backstretch. So big damage out of the number 8 machine. He still has his fast repair, but we'll go back and see maybe what happened to Regis as we were under caution here right at halfway point. See Regis out there. He's got Trevor McManus behind him. The 21 of Sawyer. You see the 39, and you see some smoke. I don't know if there's... Oh, and he gets turned by Chris Sawyer coming off of turn 2. Go back and check that one more time. As they come off the corner. Yeah, the Sawyer gets loose, trying to put a little extra wheel into it to get off the corner, and when he does, right hooks the number 8 machine. And that brings out yet another caution here right at halfway. So pit stops are happening. The 2 leaders are going to come down pit road and take what is likely their second set of tires. And it looks like 4 tires is the call for the 07 and the 27. The 5 of Alex Cruz, he's going to come out with 4 tires as well. He's actually going to pick up a spot there, which I think he might have been ahead of Patrick. Levi McCarty, I show he was in his box for 3.5 seconds So I don't know if he took tires or if he elected to save them. Not real sure. We saw him stay out on a good amount of tires earlier and was doing good until got a little bit loose. So we'll see if that plays another factor. Maybe just trying to be saving some tires, a set of tires. We still have half the race left to go, and Patrick and Jacob, they're on their third set, so they only have one more set of tires. They have to go 50 more laps. So Levi may have the right idea, trying to save a set. It looks like George Jewell may have done the same. So a lot of different tire strategies in this one. But I think, if you're Ellingson, if you're Drabick and Alex, I think y'all been up front. Here comes Levi back into pit road, so it may have made a mistake and come back and get those tires. But yeah, I think if you're Patrick and Ellingson, you got to hope that we go green for quite a while. They haven't seemed to have really much handling issues, so they feel pretty safe about the way they're driving the car. So we'll see. We'll see if that becomes an issue later down the line, just having the one set of tires, which means they have to go to 75 before they put that set on. And then they're in it after that. Well, Harcum going to be out front. He is 13 laps on his set of tires along with John Anthony. Now, John, we saw him make the same call earlier in the race, although he had like 20 laps on those tires. So we'll see if he can hang around up front this time instead of falling to the back. We talked about it already. He is racing a lot of folks, and with Chris Sawyer being involved in that wreck, he still has his fast repair. He did not use it there on that after that wreck. But right now, I mean, if the race ended right now, I believe John Anthony would be in the playoffs. So see if he can hang around up at the front and try to get there to the end. We still got a long way to go. We're almost an hour into this thing, not even halfway. So we'll see if we can get to the finish. But Charlie Harcum going to lead them down to the green flag. A little bit of an accordion effect there on the bottom, but he's going to get away safely. Alex Cruz all over the back bumper of the 00 as he's going to drop down behind his teammate Jacob Ellingson and John Anthony all by himself up at the front. Anthony's going to get picked up, but, it's if you've been around NASCAR for a long enough, you know that this style of racing has been around for a long, long time, and they could get together, but a long time ago, you would see these spread out races where, you had to have a good car, you had to have a good motor, and it wasn't all just pack racing, trying to move around in the air like what we saw in the 90s. So this is very different, where it definitely requires a lot from the driver. You can't, it's caution, comes out. And, oh, man, looks like Brandon Barrier again, the 53 around. Yet again, this is his third time to be involved in an incident. Oh, and he just exits out. He was getting that thing back going, but actually goes back around. Let's see if we can see maybe what happened to him. Running towards the back of this main pack here, and oh man, it's gonna get loose again. Right into in front of Daniel Blow, just massive contact. And the 53 is gonna call it quits after that one. Just a tough race for Brandon, who really knew that he had to come into this race and get a win. So he was doing all he can, but you could see just how difficult it is to drive out there. He is struggling. Well, while we got a moment, we'll take a look and see who we got on cams here tonight. We haven't shown everybody, but we'll show a little bit right here. We got Jacob Ellingson there on the top left, and then you got Jeremy Gibbs there, top middle. Trevor McManus just had a baby. Congratulations, Travis, there on the top right. Mickey Isaac there on the bottom left, and Patrick Drabick there on the bottom right. So definitely appreciate those webcams showing off what you got going on, and we can kind of see into what your setup looks like. You can see, oh man, you see Jeremy Gibbs giving you a little bit of thumbs up. But yet another caution. We'll take a look so far. 6 cautions here in this race tonight. And it's been a messy one, but it's going to continue to kind of, in the truck series on Friday nights, you only have the one car. You don't have a faster pair. So we would see a lot thinner race at this point in that series. But in these, you have the faster pair, which is such a nice thing to have. And you can go either way on it, but I've talked about it before where, we're not real racers. We're not pros. Not everybody's good at this. Not everybody could be your pro, NASCAR Coca-Cola Series driver. We just get in here to have fun, and man, sometimes it's nice. You make a mistake and have a mulligan to say, hey, you know what? Let me go back and get another car. You accidentally wreck somebody. Instead of their race being over, they can go in and get a brand new car. It's a really nice thing to have, and it's cool to see these the midweek series have those. But we only got the one, and people are starting to run themselves out of them. Right now, the only drivers that have a faster pair remaining is Patrick Drabick, Jacob Ellingson, Jacob Denson, Craig Bontrager, Trevor McManus, Tyler Justice, Bobby Germain, Jeremy Gibbs, and Chris Sawyer. Those drivers, the only ones with the faster pairs. Everybody else has already used it, or they're out of the race. Brandon Berry out of this. And Daniel Blow, after that wreck that just happened, he is out of it. Stephen Bartlett and Jamie Barkas have all called it quits. So as these wrecks continue to happen, the field's going to continue to thin out. And if you've already used your faster pair, you got to be thinking, man, I need to be careful. But it's been an interesting race. I will say that. While we've had a lot of cautions, it's been interesting because it's not people being dumb or being, wild and crazy. It's just the handling of these cars that guys are really struggling with. And I love to see that. I love to see guys really have to change their driving style and have to figure out how to make this work. I think that's a big part of racing. And so far, it's been a really fun race to watch. Just sort of a chess match of who can keep the car straight at this point. And I don't think the weather has changed at all. 131 degrees still. Getting ready to go green. Charlie Harcum out front. Barney has the green flag in hand. Ellingson going to start next to him on the outside into the restart zone. And Harcum really slow rolls it into the restart zone. And that bottom line completely has to check up as Jacob Ellingson has a nose out front. We'll see if he can do anything. He's got his teammate Alex Cruz behind him. We'll see if he can do anything on the outside. It's going to take a lap or half lap or so to, Harcum comes up off the bottom. It's going to take about a lap here to get it up to speed, but that outside's got a lot of momentum in it at the moment. Got a lot of good drivers. See Ellingson get up to his teammate there in the second row, but Alex Cruz has to let off a little bit, and you see that big gap behind him. And Ellingson, with no help, not going to be able to really move forward here. He's going to stay even. But that bottom line has just been so dominant here in this race. But now the bottom line breaks apart as Denson going to go to the outside. Oh, man, and it looks like maybe Alex Cruz not happy about that. Thought about maybe going to the outside of the 7 as they go on board with Alex Cruz to see if they can make that top line work. Denson getting right to the back bumper of the 27. Doesn't touch him, but gives him a little shove. Those two cars right here is where that momentum is going to pick up. Right here, the 27 gets a little bit loose. He's going to lose a little bit of time, but he does draw even with the 7. And we'll see if they can maintain it. That's been the struggle. We've seen a couple guys do that, but look, the top line just no help at the moment. As there's only 3 cars up there now. So we've seen guys be able to get to this point right here, but not been able to see them clear anybody. So we'll see if Jacob can kind of break that streak and get back to the lead. And I'm assuming the way the top line has worked, if you get clear, you're dropping down to the bottom. You're not going to stay up here on the outside. The outside has been pretty treacherous. You know, Alex Cruz, though, doing his best Bane impersonation. He's born in the darkness. He has stayed up here at the top all race long. He's lost his drafting buddy in Ryan Pendleton as he's down on the bottom, but Alex has been up on the top side this whole race. And I don't know. I don't see that changing. As you see back there, that blue and orange, Bobby Jermaine gets a little bit out of shape. We'll be able to get that thing back rolling. Here comes Jacob Ellingson staying real tight on the 28. Using that side draft to pull the 28 back. 28 still on older tires, just about 12 lap older tires, but still older nonetheless. And the 27 really being aggressive with that side draft. And after 62 laps, we're kind of seeing the first kind of remnants of what super speedway racing is normally like. But you see just how much those cars are moving around all over the place. Nobody looks stable. And we're getting the good off these tires already, so it's only going to get worse. But Jacob Ellingson doing a great job here. He's got a nose out front. We'll see if he can clear him going into one. I don't think he will, though. Down the back straightaway, they roll. Two Camaros out front. The 07 gives the 28 a big push. The 7 of Denson actually falls back off of the 27, but it just seems like Charlie not able to hold the speed off the exit of the corner. He's giving it too much wheel because he doesn't want to get into the 27, so he's having to give it a whole lot of wheel, and on the exit that scrubs the speed off. At Daytona Talladega, it does it because it's such a big track, 2.66 miles. This is just a mile and a half, so it's a lot tighter on entry and exit. So it requires you to put a lot more wheel into it, and that will scrub speed and heat those tires up. But, man, I tell you, Ellingson doing a great job. The best that I've seen out of anybody coming down the hill on exit, right on the door as they come off the corner. And he almost cleared him there. So if he can continue this, he'll be able to get clear of that 28 and get back down to the bottom, which I know it's where he wants to be. Jacob putting a lot of trust, though, in Charlie Harcum to not have any issues bounce up off the apron or anything, because he will be right into the 27. And right now we're seeing where track position being, I mean, it's a premium. It is so hard to pass. You cannot go anywhere. You can't, for the love of God, you can't go 3 wide. It's impossible. So you gotta make your moves. You gotta change lanes when you can, but we're just not able to see guys move and get runs and keep them like we normally do. The track's just too hot that you're not able to maintain any kind of momentum at this point. But Jacob is trying all he can to get out front. And it just shows how strong oh my goodness! Chance Taylor into the wall. Oh, big contact as Regis Clark goes to the wall, and Trevor McManus also involved. Trevor already into the playoffs, and we saw it happening as you see Chris Sawyer able to kind of sneak through there, but Chance Taylor, we saw him get up into the wall, and that kind of started all this. He is a driver right on the cut line. You see him going to get loose here. Made a little bit of contact with some other drivers. McManus makes a little bit of contact, and then here, I can't find him. There he is. The 8 with massive, massive contact. Let's go on board with him. Regis Clark here. See Chance up there a few rows ahead. You can see him already getting loose. The 08 going to peek down to the inside of Brian Provo, and then just big contact, and Regis nowhere to go as that motor is blown and he is out of this thing. And I think see him get loose here, and I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, Brian, I mean, he has nowhere to go. If he lifts, he might get run over. He knows Chance is going to get into the wall here, so he's just trying to clear him. And so he goes down to the inside, but when he does, I mean, Trevor McManus was there. They were already 3 wide, so they basically became 4 wide when Chance makes that contact, and then, yeah, then just calamity after that. I mean, just parts and pieces going everywhere. It looks like Provo going to exit out as well. So now we've cut down even more drivers. Provo going to be on pit road. He is effectively out of this thing, as he's probably going to have too much damage. He's already 2 laps down. Doug Ellingson is, don't look now, but the 58 of Doug Ellingson is actually just 1 lap down. He was 3 laps down at one point, and the car looks pretty good, not going to lie. He had a bumper that was disappeared at one point. He's been able to avoid the wrecks, and Doug just needs one more caution, and he'll be back on the lead lap. He is solely 1 lap down, so nobody else is on his lap. So if he gets another caution, he'll get the lucky dog, and he'll be right back in this thing. One of those drivers needs a win to move on into the playoffs, and, I mean, the way things are going, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he does get that win. But starting to click those laps down pretty quickly now. We still have 30 laps to go, which seems like an eternity, but they'll click away pretty quickly, especially after a run like what we just had. And now I think this is where the interesting part of the race really kicks in for at least the tires. Now, we haven't seen tires be a huge issue, but it definitely matters. We're not talking about, a Dover type scenario where tires are just blazing fast and just driving by. But we have seen older tires be a little bit more nervous, not be able to move around in the groups, not push as good as the newer tires. You definitely have a little bit more security, can keep it wide open longer. But we're down to where guys just have maybe 1 or no sets of tires at this point. And that's going to make things very interesting. Now, the top 9 have not come down pit road and taken that next set of tires. So they're still on the same set they've had for 20 laps. Charlie Harcum has been holding on to his now for 32 laps. And he was able to keep the lead. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but we're going to see. Jeremy Gibbs there, Craig Bontrager back in the 11th position. He'll be the first guy on 4 tires. We'll see if he's able to move forward with those fresh tires. But green flag back out. Charlie Harcum going to get a great jump yet again. And now the battle is going to be between the Goat Locker teammates. We'll see if they get connected in some way. Jacob Denson going to go down to the inside and try to break that little group up. There's a lot of Goat Locker up at the front, and that got to make you nervous. If you're Jacob Denson, and here comes Patrick Drabick. He pulls up in front of Jacob Denson. He says, I'm going for the lead. He saw an opportunity, and he took it. And he's going to leave Charlie Harcum out by himself. And he'll see if we can see a pass happen on the outside for the first time tonight. And we do. Is here he's going to go down to the bottom as Jacob Denson. He wants to follow suit, and he goes up to the outside. These guys are already picking up the intensity as we're getting down to the end of this thing. But Patrick Drabick makes that pass work. The 7 and the 07 make a little bit of contact as here we go. 3 wide down the back straightaway. We've still got a long way to go, but Denson all by himself is Harcum. Oh, going to make a little bit of contact in the wall. Goes Denson. They're still making contact. The 7 still stuck to the wall. He does get it off of the wall, but contact was made as Jacob Ellingson goes 3 wide. And unfortunately, it's not Jacob's fault. The 28 kind of comes up the track as they were 3 wide, and they just kind of get squeezed. And so that has really changed the landscape of the front. You see all in single file all the way back to, looks like Trevor McManus back in the 8th position. As, ooh, man, a little bit of nervous feeling out of that 27. He has not been behind folks too many times. He's been out front pretty much the whole dang race, either leading the line or he's going to look down to the inside maybe. So this is the first time he has had no air on the front of that 27 machine. You can see he's getting close to the 07, trying to push him, but that car is all out of shape. Let's go on board with Jacob here as he tries to maintain this second spot in line. And look at that brow. He has got it scrunched up, really trying to hang on to this car. You can see. Listen how he lifts going into the corner. Back on the throttle right in the middle. And you can see that wheel going left to right as he's trying to keep that car going straight. Just so much that you're unsure of at the moment. Now, one thing I am sure of is that Craig Bontrager in that 49 machine, he is on the move with those fresh tires. Talked about him being the first car on fresh tires, and that 49 is up into the top 5. We're making that outside work now. Pendleton jumps up in front of him, and I think that really killed his run as he's trying to make those tires work. But the 27 knows he's got to make sure he positions himself, so he jumps out in front of him. I think if Ryan wasn't in the way here, I think Craig would have an opportunity to take the lead, and I think Ryan knows that. And he said, well, I can't let him get up there and get up to the lead as they almost make contact. Is Ryan Pendleton having to save that thing going down into turn 1. And Craig is putting so much pressure. He gets a bump from the rear, and they are getting wild up here. And I think Craig is kind of putting Ryan Pendleton in the position where, hey, if you want to come up in front of me, this is what we're doing. I'm going to the front, and you got to decide if you want to go as well. Let's see if you really want this pressure. And look at Craig all over the back bumper, making Ryan earn it. But he's doing a good job. Ryan up to second place here. So we're seeing those tires make a big difference. They make a little contact bound. Woo! Big push down into turn 3. Ryan Pendleton out front. Here comes Craig down to the inside as Ryan gets a little bit loose. Craig holds on to it. And we're 3 wide for second. Ryan going to get right to the right rear corner. Going to put him in the wall. Craig into the wall. Able to hang on to it, but he's going to fall all the way back to 16th. Oh, I hate to see that. But, yeah, Ryan goes right down and hits him in the right rear and sends him up into the wall. That's kind of a bummer, because he was definitely making it interesting up front. But it's not over. Now, Craig may have a little bit of damage. He'll have to get kind of settled back in, but yeah, that's a bummer. I think Craig definitely had what it took, and he definitely could see that Ryan was struggling and tried to go down to the inside, and unfortunately, Ryan just comes down and right hooks him. I've never seen that out of Ryan. I think it might have been an accident, honestly. But, oh, man, it definitely was, because he is now out of shape. As he's got the 9. Trevor McManus now going down to the inside. He's trying to stay a little net code with Alex Cruz, and they go around. Caution is going to come out again here on lap 81. And, man, I'll tell you what, frustration out of Trevor McManus as he is basically doing donuts. And he comes to a complete stop, got hands on his head, frustrated as he almost made it out of that. And you can see, I mean, this guy's already locked in the playoffs, but you can see how much it means to him. Let's go on board with him. Yeah, you can just see the contact. He almost saves it, just quite couldn't get it saved. Alex Cruz is going to pay the price a little bit with a little bit of net code, but, I mean, we saw Ryan make contact with Craig, and then he's just battling. This is what we've seen all race long. He has to go. He can't just take it easy. He's trying to make it work, and he was doing such a good job, and then eventually the Piper came calling, and unfortunately, Trevor McManus is going to get the brunt of it. Well, Patrick Drabick with the lead. They did not come down pit road, which I'm a little surprised to see. I don't know if pit road is open just yet. We'll see as they come around here. I would expect to see them come down pit road and get tires. Craig Bontrager comes down pit road and gets a fast repair. He does not get tires. So he'll come out in 8th after that contact. But it looks like the Goat Locker boys are going to stay out. 32 lap old tires. Now Charlie Harcum there in 3rd. He is on 44 lap old tires. So lots of different strategies here. And it looks like Jeremy Gibbs, he's going to be the first driver on a set of tires. And after seeing what Craig did, if you're Jeremy, you got to feel like, maybe I can do something here. You know, I've got opportunity here. And if it goes green, if it goes green, I mean, he's definitely got a good opportunity. He just got to, it's tough. There's going to be about 16, 15 laps to go when we get the green flag. And he's going to be in the 9th position. And we've already seen those lines kind of get cut off. Nowhere to go. We saw Craig go to the inside, and he did make a good move down to the inside of the middle of that line. But contact was made. So it's going to be up to Jeremy to have the patience to say, hey, look, I got the tires. I've got the ability to move around that these other guys don't have. So I need to get up there, make my moves very carefully like a surgeon with a scalpel and get himself up to the front. And if he can do that without getting involved in the wreck, he's got an opportunity to win this race. So you got to feel really good if you're Jeremy Gibbs. Now, right next to him, also, Steve McDonald on fresh tires. So he has got to feel pretty good himself. Just all about making those moves and not getting too excited. When you get fresh tires, you get excited and you go, oh, I want to go. But you got to be careful that you make your moves slowly and one at a time and take the runs, take what's given. Try not to make, a gap when there's not one, and try to have that patience. Of course, points coming into this thing. Jeremy Gibbs would love to get a win and get into the playoffs. I mean, there's a lot of drivers up here. I'm not sure about Tyler Justice's minimum race requirement, but he could get a win and maybe find himself in here. Craig Bontrager as well could get a win. Steve McDonald would love to get up here and get a dub and move on to the next round. You see the 0-0 of John Anthony in 8th position. He was below the cutoff, and Chance Taylor in 11th. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out. It's going to go all the way down to the wire for sure. Green flag out, though, for the 07. Is going to drop right down in front of his teammate. They know that at this point with fresh tires, they're going to have to work together as a unit to get this win. Now, Goat Locker is one of the strongest teams in this series. There's no doubt about it. They are a plague out there of just teamwork and selflessness that you don't really see out of a lot of teams where they don't care who wins the race. They feel like they win if a Goat Locker driver wins. And that is a strong way to have a team. That is a strong value in a team where guys are selfless and they're willing to push a guy to a win and not try to get it for themselves. And that's one thing that Goat Locker does really well. So if there is a team that's going to work together all the way to the bitter end, it's definitely going to be the 07 and the 27. They lost some teammates now with those incidents. Ryan Pendleton, the first driver a lap down, but Doug Ellingson is back on the lead lap, so don't sleep on him just yet. He might still have something to say. But right now for Goat Locker, it is just Patrick and Jacob up here. Charlie Harcum, Jacob Denton, I believe, on team together. So we'll see if they get hooked up at some point. And then Levi McCarty has kind of made his way back up towards the front. He was up here early, faded back with an incident, but has made his way back up here. So now the chess match has really started. Under 15 laps to go. Who has the tires to get it done? We haven't seen Jeremy Gibbs get up here just yet. We haven't seen Steve McDonald. Steve actually has gone to the back, so tires not a massive deal at the moment. But patience is part of it. You're likely going to see a wreck up here as guys are going to try to get wild and try to make something happen. So we'll see. Right now, it is Jacob Denson trying to get that top line working again. He's got Levi McCarty. Now he's got some good help. He's for sure got somebody that's willing to stick it out there. Oh, my goodness. And Seven's going to get tight off the exit of the corner. Has to lift to not get in the wall. Give it a little bit too much steering wheel, and that will compound a tight issue if you do that too many times. So he has to be careful. Oh, my goodness. He's going to get loose. Right on cue. Jacob Denson into the wall. No caution as his motor is blown. So Denson, if he doesn't get around and doesn't get the caution, he is out of it. That motor is expired. and he will have to go all the way around the track. He does have the fast repair, but he's going to have to go all the way around. He really needs a caution to be able to coast back around. He's still got a little bit of motor, but at any moment that thing could blow, and if it does, it's race over for the 7. But he is very much going to go at least one lap down. Well, we talked about him, Jeremy Gibbs. That's what he's waiting on. He's waiting on him to clear out. Just go ahead and clear out, boys. Get out of my way. Go ahead and run up and hit the wall, and let me take these 4 tires to the front. Jeremy Gibbs now up into the 6th position, going to tuck up under Levi McCarty. That patience working out for him. Steve McDonald back there as well. Chance Taylor, John Anthony, all these guys need. Now, what you can't do is get all the way down to the end and screw it up and make contact and get caught up in a wreck. You still got 10 laps to go. We still got a long way to go. And you see Jeremy Gibbs, he wants to go to the inside of Tyler Justice. Oh, he wanted to so bad, but it just couldn't quite make it work and just doesn't feel confident. He really needs to wait for Tyler to kind of get off that top line and get down on the bottom, let Tyler go to the back, and then you kind of commandeer that top line. But I'm telling you right now, Steve McDonald and Jeremy Gibbs, they have the tires that they need. And Chance Taylor also on those fresh tires. Here comes Chance Taylor looking down to the inside of Levi. And right now, I think Tyler Justice is Goat Locker's best friend because he is out there really playing defense on that top line. Nobody can really get up there with those tires because he is still on those older tires. But Tyler doing a really good job. And here comes Jeremy Gibbs. Is Tyler going to squeeze him? And Charlie Harcum actually backs off, it looks like, and decided, hey, I'm getting out of the way. Here he comes, Jeremy Gibbs on those 4 fresh tires going to the outside. And I think he's got something for these boys. That number 2 machine, did he go too early or is he in the right spot? I think with 8 laps to go, he is in the right part. Now, what you can't do is don't let those tires get too heated. Don't get too excited and try to take it. Oh, my goodness, Tyler Justice, contact, big wreck. Chance Taylor involved, Steve McDonald, Chris Sawyer. This is a playoff ending wreck for some folks. Scott Phelps goes around. Caution is out. Bobby Germain is involved as well. Here comes Doug Ellingson. Oh, checks up, and he is going to miss it. And that was big. That was a big, big caution as there was a lot of playoff drivers involved, and it all started with Tyler Justice. Let's go back and see what happened here on the replay. You see him just going to get loose right here, right up into Charlie. They go up the track, and Chance Taylor going to make some contact. And, man, look at the contact that happened inside of here. Let's see if we can find Chance Taylor. I don't know why I can't find him. There it is. Go back a little bit. Right as the accident was happening, you see Chance gets hit from Bobby Germain. John Anthony makes a little bit of contact. Steve McDonald involved, and it is just nowhere to go here. As it looks like Jeremy Gibbs made the move at the right time, because right as he made the move, and we saw that earlier, as when somebody gets in front of you and you're already battling a ill-handling car, it seems like it just takes all the air off the front end, and you can see just the calamity that happened. Bobby Germain involved. And if you take a look at the standings, Bobby Germain 10 points above the cut line. He still has the fast repair, but he is a couple laps down. So Bobby Germain was involved in that. Let's see. Let's see. Chris Sawyer was involved as well. I think a little bit of that. Chance Taylor involved. John Anthony was a part of that as well. So big playoff implications there on that wreck. And I'm really surprised to see this. I'm surprised to see that Patrick Drabick did not come down pit road there. I think that they feel confident in their teamwork, but Jeremy Gibbs, man, I got to say, what an incredible job by him to get through that. Now, Steve McDonald is up in 4th. I don't know, did he was involved in that incident. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened there. See if we can go back and maybe see if he got any damage. It looks like he's got a brand new car, but I don't think he came down pit road unless timing and scoring just didn't show it. Yeah, made a little contact here on the right front. Another bit of contact down on the inside wall. So the 68 definitely was involved, and we'll take a look at the car here and see. I mean, that car looks clean, so he might have stuck on pit road. I don't know. See as he comes by here. No, he's still got that damage. So you wonder if that steering is off on the 68. He does have those fresh tires along with Jeremy Gibbs. But I'm not really sure how good those tires are gonna work if they're not going straight. So we'll see if he's got major damage or not. But I mean, right now the interesting thing right here is if Jeremy Gibbs can find somebody to help him, he's got everything he needs to win this race, and he is going to try to go playoff racing. Yeah, they're Doug Ellingson there in that red car down on the bottom, man, fought through so much adversity and now finds himself up in the 7th position. That's how you fight right there. That's why you stay in it. You don't give up. John Anthony there in 5th position, doing what he needs to do to make the points. It is going to be tight right around the cutoff. I can't wait for this race to be over and see who and the big thing is if Jeremy Gibbs gets up here and wins this race, then it's even tighter. It's even worse for some of these guys. So we'll see if they can get it done with them Goat Locker boys. Hang on to it there on the bottom. Green flag is out. Jeremy Gibbs does not get a great jump, but those two up front definitely counting themselves down. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Jeremy's in a great spot here as he's going to drop down to the bottom, and those guys are going to get away, but Jeremy is going to have a massive run here once they get up to speed. He is going to get a huge drive, and now Levi McCarty, another driver to be watching out for in that 18, that Toyota that's 4th in line on the bottom with Jeremy Gibbs. He's got fresh tires. He went down on this last stop, so 5 laps to go. Will they work together? They're going to have to, I believe. But here comes Jeremy Gibbs with the run. I think the Goat Locker boys are going to be in trouble here. What move are they going to make? Jeremy, obviously, going to make a move here. What does he decide to do? No, he actually checks up, runs to the back bumper of the 27. I can't believe it. The 27 gets all kinds of out of shape. Jeremy Gibbs, though, going to stay in line. I cannot believe it. There he goes. Now he's going to the outside. Here we go. 4 laps to go. Fresh tires on the outside. Some of the best teamwork you've ever seen in iRacing on the inside. Here comes Jeremy Gibbs on the outside. He's got help with the 18. Fresh tires. Oh, they go down, make a little contact. Down on the apron goes Patrick Drabick. It is about to get messy. Craig Bontrager up at the front. Here we go. Side by side, Jeremy Gibbs with the fresh tires. He's got 30 lap fresher tires than the 2 on the bottom. Is it going to be enough? 3 laps to go. Jeremy Gibbs got a nose out front. Can he make the pass? Can he clear it? You see a little bit of uneasy out of the 07 and the 27. Here we go off the corner. Jeremy Gibbs has the lead. Cross the line. Gibbs had the lead at the line. He's going to fall back a little bit as Craig going to go down to the bottom. I think that is not what you want to do. I don't think there's anything down on the bottom. They're going to be hugging that bottom line. So the top line going to lose a little bit. Craig back to the top, though. He heard me. Levi. Oh, no, that contact. Jeremy Gibbs self-clears himself, and they stay green. We stay green as the 27 and the 07 make contact. As Jeremy Gibbs self-cleared himself across the nose, or he got loose one. I'm not real sure, but white flag is out. Levi McCarty on fresh tires. Craig Bontrager on older tires. Who is going to get the win? Tyler Justice back there in 3rd. Jeremy Gibbs not out of it just yet. They're going to get a run down the back straightaway. When will Craig make his move? He's going to make it now, but Levi's going to block it. Big run coming from behind him. Tyler Justice going to get to the back bumper of the 18. Here comes Jeremy Gibbs. It's not over just yet. Jeremy going to make contact, goes out to the inside. But crossing the line, Levi McCarty with the fresh tires is going to take the checker flag here in Atlanta. Oh, my goodness. Levi McCarty coming down with 6 laps to go. Takes those tires all the way to the front. And Tyler Justice going to finish in 2nd. And Craig Bontrager, after that incident, went to the back, stayed in it, and comes away with third place. John Anthony with a fourth place finish. What a great run for him for the points. And unfortunately for Jeremy Gibbs, he is going to be out of this thing. We'll go back and see if we can maybe find the point where he comes down in front of. I mean, just got such a massive. No, we need to go back a little bit further, it looks like. Here we go, right here. Yeah, it's exactly the moment. Yeah, just, he wasn't clear. Oh, I wonder if he could take it back if he would. We'll go on board with Patrick Dravick. And I think he wanted it to be clear so bad, and it just wasn't. Oh, it just waited a little bit longer. He probably would have been clear, but just got too excited. I just know the feeling. I know it. And I can't fault him at all for trying to make that move, but just a little bit too early. But I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Jeremy stayed with it. And that's one thing I will say, while that kind of, ruined his shot of winning the race, man, he stayed in it, and he had a shot here. I mean, look at this as they're coming down to the checker. On board with Jeremy Gibbs. And you're going to see as Craig kind of pulls out, kind of stops their run, Jeremy going to go down to the inside, and when he does, he goes down through the grass. And, man, what a finish. So, I mean, while Jeremy didn't win the race, I mean, what a way to stay in it and come away with a top 5, man. Whoa, wow, wow, wow. Well, let's take a break. I need a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk to these drivers and see what they thought about this race. So that was pretty incredible. We'll be right back. Well, all right. Well, we're back. After 9 cautions, 10 lead changes, 100 laps at Atlanta, we have put it in the books. Levi McCarty comes away with the victory with Tyler Justice in second position. Craig Von Traeger comes home in third with John Anthony in the fourth position. Jeremy Gibbs comes away in the fifth spot with Stephen McDonald there in sixth. Chris Sawyer with another good run in seventh. That's going to be big for his points. We'll see in just a few minutes if it is official, and we'll let you know who made it into the final 12. But a good run out of Chris Sawyer. Now, Patrick Dravick leading up there as Jeremy Gibbs comes across his nose. Did a great job of hanging on to it. Comes home in 8th. George Jewell, who had a great finish. He needed this type of finish here tonight, and he got it. Comes home with the 9th place position. Jacob Ellis up front. I just wonder if they'll question that decision not to come down. It's always tough being the leader. Everybody does exact opposite of what you do. But I would love to know if they regret not coming down to get those tires, 50 laps on those tires. They still had the lead. If they didn't make contact, it was going to be tough for Jeremy. So it'd be interested to see how that would have worked out. But Jacob Ellingson comes home with the 10th. He's locked into the playoffs. Pat's locked into the playoffs. They move on. They're good. Mickey Isaac going to be in 11th. Doug Ellingson, man, I got to say, I got to give a big shout out to it. He's been involved in some wrecks. He has some tough races out there, just learning, trying to get better. And what a way to get get a good finish after being 3+ laps down, come back and get a 12th place finish. Big props to Doug Ellingson, just incredible out of that 58. Chance Taylor in 13th. May have been enough, all he needed while he was involved there in a late race wreck. May have been all he needed to get that playoff spot. We'll see once it's all said and done. Charlie Harcum up front all race long, comes away with a 14th position. 15th going to be Jacob Denton, Bobby Tremaine in 16th, Scott Phelps 17th, 18th Ryan Pendleton, 19th Alex Cruz, and 20th Trevor McManus. 21st is Brian Provo, Regis Clark in 22nd, 23rd Brandon Barrier. A lot of disappointment from 20th on back, that's for sure. 23rd Brandon Barrier, Daniel Blow in 24th, And 25th, Stephen Bartlett with Jamie Barkus calling it quits there at the end of that thing. Well, all right. Well, we've got to get these guys in here and talk to them, but we're going to talk to our winner first. Levi McCarty comes away with the victory here tonight. Levi, I'm just incredible racing all race long. It was a lot of mess. You had to avoid a lot. There was a lot to consider, a lot of learning that probably went on in this race. But you made a decision there to come down and get those tires and come away with the victory. Talk a little bit about the first part of that race. You got caught out there on older tires, and it seemed like it was a handful. What was it like racing out there? Let the viewers know.
I'm in shock. That was what a finish. That was so much fun. Yeah, old tires were no bueno tonight. You couldn't hold the throttle where you needed to make up time. It was just wrecking loose because of the track temp being so hot. But it made for a great race. Yeah, early there I honestly wanted to pit, but we were coming around and I missed pit road because I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to catch up, and then pit road closed, so I was like, well, I guess I'll just stay out here. And I was kind of fast there the first couple laps, and then I started to fade and ended up getting into the wall. And I appreciate everybody kind of staying off of me there. And yeah, we were able to rebound, use our fast repair, hung around back there for a while, and then made our push back to the front. And then I thought pitting there on the last caution was like a no-brainer because of the tires. And I was kind of watching my tire wear throughout the race, and I was surprised, any of those guys in front of me didn't come down. And I think we restarted 7th and kind of got in behind Jeremy there and pushed him out to the front, and he almost got clear, and the seas kind of parted for me, and all I had to do was hold 2 or 3 guys off behind me. And yeah, I'm just so stoked to win a plate race. I'm always getting caught up in stuff in these races, and it just feels good to finally close the deal on one.
Yeah, and for you, not a playoff picture type race. I mean, I don't think you're eligible for the playoffs.
Nope.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but so you kind of pin your ears back, and it's all about winning for you, trophy hunting, and that's exactly what you did tonight. I mean, it seemed like that 18 was pretty strong, had a lot of speed, and there at the end, you were working your way up to the front. And I mean, were you nervous at all about the runs coming from behind? I mean, just walk me through that end, coming off of turn 4, kind of what your thoughts were as, somebody kind of stepped out and it kind of dropped to, the run. I think Craig stepped out a little bit and tried to go around you, and that kind of parachuted you guys, and 2 from behind, Tyler and Jeremy, got huge runs. Kind of what was your thought coming off of 4 there?
Yeah, I just at that point when I was able to push Jeremy out to the lead there, and he wasn't able to quite clear the bottom line, and then they got together, and I was able to get out front, and then I was just looking in my mirror the whole time. It was kind of weird being in that situation because I hadn't been there very often, like getting the white flag in the lead, and then having a bunch of space in between you and the next car. So I was scared to death. I just was looking in my mirror and trying to figure out where he was going to try to set up the pass. And yeah, I ended up doing a decent job of it, I guess. And yeah, I'm just so stoked to finally win one of these things. So it was a blast, and I appreciate everybody up there racing tonight. It was everybody was really respectful up there, and it was a really good time.
Well, you came away with the victory. A great call at the end, made the right call, I think, and put that 18 in victory lane. So congratulations, man, on a great win there. And who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Obviously I wish I would have started running in this league a little bit earlier, so I could have been worked through the points and been playoff eligible. But that's the way it goes, and I've had a ton of fun, and I thank these guys for letting me come in and race later in the season, and kind of trusting that I would stay out of some other guys' way that were fighting and everything. So yeah, thanks for the sponsor that puts on the series, Right Now Roofing. Really want to thank those guys for sponsoring the series. Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, Cruising Classics, Redbeard Design Company, and then V-Speed. Thank you for doing the broadcast and everything. I'm very impressed with the quality of the broadcast, and it's definitely one that I enjoy sharing out to my friends and family to kind of showcase some of the sim racing that I'm doing.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. Well, congratulations on the win. Go celebrate, man. We'll see you
Appreciate it.
hopefully
Yeah,
next week.
appreciate it. I forgot Fairfield Auto Group and Fairfield Motorsports. Huge shout out to those guys, and thanks again.
All right. Well, there you have it. Levi McCarty takes home his first win in Goat Locker. What a way to do it in a race like this. Well, hey, let's talk to our second place finisher, Tyler Justice, who we got up into the booth, man. Tyler, what a race you had. That Braves number 13 machine looked fast, but it seemed like it was really tough out there with the track temp and the way these cars drive. I mean, what was it like out there for you? What were you having issues with? How was the car handling for you? Tyler, let me know if you got me. All right, we'll get Tyler back in just a moment. We'll try to talk to him, maybe having some mic issues. But I'm going to bring third place in here, Craig Bontrager. Now, Craig, am I saying that last name right? I feel like I am. But
Yeah,
let me. Am I?
you got the hang of it. Bontrager. Yep, you got it. Bontrager.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's my little victory. I'll take a victory lap for that one. Well, Craig, man, exciting run out of you. I mean, you took fresh tires a couple cautions ago and drove right up to the front, and you were making moves and got right hook, got put into the wall, and then you thought, man, maybe this is it. But I mean, I've been asking everybody about the car. Before we get into all that, I want to know what it was like for you out there, because we saw very little issues with guys making stupid moves. You see that a lot at super speedways. Tonight it was all about handling and trying to keep that car under you. It seemed like the air was moving around 130 degrees on track. Tell me what it was like out there trying to get these Xfinity cars around this track.
And I think my body temperature might have hit 130 degrees. I was sweating buckets there for a while. No, it was a great ride. Definitely a challenge for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was all about taking care of tires when you could, and then slipping into that opportunity when you had it, and it was a ton of fun.
Well, you got hooked into the wall, which obviously was an accident. We saw Ryan Pendleton just really struggling after that point on old tires. And so how do you put your head down and say, okay, I'm going to give it a shot there at the end? Take tires with 6 laps to go. You and Levi made the right call, obviously. Or you didn't take tires, excuse me. You took them about 18 laps before that after you had to come in and take your fast repair. But that 49 machine seems pretty strong there, and you saw you had the opportunity to make a move on Levi. You seemed maybe you weren't quite sure if you wanted to make it or when you wanted to do. Do you feel like did you wait too long? Did you go too early? That move at the end, how do you feel about it? Would you take it back? Would you change anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely plate racing's a weakness, and I saw that 18 car Levi sitting in front of me, and I didn't really know what to do with him. So I thought maybe I had enough speed to get something running. As soon as we both parachuted, I knew I wasn't going anywhere, and 13 slipped in there for second place. So yeah, I'd probably maybe a little bit more bumper and I'll dive down to the inside or something, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do.
Yeah, well, pretty incredible recovery there. Seemed like you had a pretty fast machine there that was able to kind of move around, get up to the front. Just ran out of time, I think. A couple, maybe a lap or two, you get that run back and maybe try to get the win. But third place is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, cross the line, 0.0 seconds for all three of you. As y'all were right on top of each other. Great finish here at Atlanta. So congratulations, man, on third place finish. It was a lot of fun to watch you. And who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is my third or fourth start with GLR, and I love taking my hobby and being able to support the things that they do. Get a podium this early is pretty awesome. But definitely want to thank, Redbeard Design Company, Right Now Roofing, Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, Cruising Classics, of course, VSRN with the broadcast. This is highly entertaining. I got a lot of family watching. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, there you have it. Third place finisher, Craig Bontrager. comes away with a podium here at Atlanta. Well, let's try Tyler Justice one more time and try to get this second place interview. Tyler, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. Tyler Justice. Boy, I tell you what, it was fun watching you guys run this track car combo. Definitely a lot to it. Seemed like guys were slipping, sliding all over the place. That Braves Supra looked pretty fast. Talk to me a little bit about this race, what your goal was coming into it. Were you surprised about how the car was handling? Tell me a little bit about your first part of the race.
Yeah, so car was, it's pretty loose with how high the track temperature was. Had to back it up going into the corner a lot. Like I was pretty much running 3/4 to a half throttle the whole lap, being back in traffic. And since I joined a little bit too late, was my whole goal really was to not get anybody's way, kind of stay out of trouble, but not not race and just hang around back. I took my moves when I could and make sure there was nobody in the way, or I wasn't going to ruin anybody's race or try not to.
Well, coming down to the end there was a lot of moving parts there, a lot of different tire situation, but you had the best situation, the fact that you had fresh tires just like Levi did. The leaders kind of come apart there, and you got a massive run there on the bottom. Talk me a little bit through that last lap, and maybe what you might have done a little bit different. Are you happy about what you did? Talk me through that last lap.
Yeah, so I think lap 91, 92. I'm not sure if I haven't watched the replay. I'm not sure if, because I got a little loose going into one. I'm not sure if he might have gotten to the back of me or I just lost it. But I got really bad damage on my car, so I had to go pit and get me a fresh set and use the fast repair. So then the restart, I was kind of just watching, picking. I knew I had a faster car because of the tires. I could tell just going into 1 and 2 because I could just hold it wide open and nobody else could. So when I saw, I think it was Jake and Patrick both got loose coming out of 4, I just kind of moved up to the third line, held it, just hoping that they weren't going to snap back up across. And then when I cleared them, I knew I had a pretty good run because I think the other two had to check up pretty hard. I was hoping that not sure who was in second place at the time on the backstretch. I was hoping he was going to stay low and try to get up under Levi because I knew I could hold it wide open on the outside and I was going to have a massive run. But he kind of ran the middle lane, so I was kind of stuck. I knew I was going to be able to get past him, and basically, if he would have went low, I was going to go high, and I felt like I would have got him coming out of 4 just because of the tire difference. But with coming out of having to go down low, I knew that I was just going to P2 was the best I could get. Well,
hey, it was a lot of fun to watch you guys come up through there with those tires, and you had an opportunity and just came up just so close to getting that win, but just definitely made it fun up there. So congratulations on that second place finish. Who you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank Right Now Roofing, Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life, Cruising Classics, Red Beer Design, V-Speed, just for putting this whole show on with, because I also run Next Gen. So I just want to appreciate all them for supporting it, being able to broadcast this. First league, I've only been doing iRacing since December. So, but I've done racing like Gran Turismo, Forza, all that going from back till I was like 4 or 5. So not new to racing, just new to iRacing. So it's been pretty fun. Group's really good. Everybody races really clean. So it's just been a blast since I've joined.
Well, man, congratulations on a second place, Tyler. Looking forward to talking to you in the future.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. That is it here tonight. Boy, we are moving on. And guess what we got? We got a little bit of stuff to announce. We got some playoff drivers, and I'm going to tell you who's going playoff racing. Well, we're going to start at the front. People that you know. Jacob Ellingson is your regular season champion as he takes the point lead, and he's tied with the most wins. So congratulations to Jacob Ellingson on the regular season championship. He will race in the round of 12 moving forward. Jacob Denson, will be your next driver who will be racing for a championship. Trevor McManus will be your third driver. Scott Phelps will be the fourth driver. Charlie Harcum will be your fifth driver. Alex Cruz will be the sixth driver in the playoffs with Patrick Dravitt in seventh. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Very, very interesting as we move into the next few spots. George Jewell comes away with an 8th position, and he will be racing in the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series. Chris Sawyer, with a great run last week and a great run this week, was able to get the points that he needs to get into the playoffs. He will end up 9th in the standings. Jamie Barkus had a tough race, but he was all locked in as long as he started the race, and he will be your 10th place driver. That means we have 2 spots left to give out. If you're still with us, we'll leave a little bit of drama. Let's go to commercial break, and we'll see who the final 2 are. No, I'm just kidding. Final 2 drivers. John Anthony. They were tied for the final 2 position. Now, this is really unofficial. I'm going off iRacing. If there's any adjustments that are made later on, we'll just deal with it. But I'm going to give you the best I got. I want you to have the information. But John Anthony will be your 11th driver that will race for a championship after he comes out with a 4th place finish. And what a way to enter in 9 points below the cutoff. And he will go playoff racing in the 11th place position. And then, man, one more spot to go. Who is going to be racing for a championship? Who is going to come away with that 12th and final spot? Who's it going to be? Just 2 points above the cutoff line. Chance Taylor is going racing in the playoffs. He will take the final spot. Bobby Germain 2 points out after being involved in that wreck. Man, just a tough deal for him. Doug Ellingson will be in 14th and just needed that win, and he would have been in. Bobby Germain, though, will be 2 points out of it. Had a great season, but those are your 12 drivers that are going racing for a championship starting next week. And it is going to be, just unbelievable. The first race is going to be at Bristol. Then we go to Michigan, and then we'll cut down to 8 drivers. Do Kansas and Phoenix, then down to 4. And boy, oh boy, racing it out at Iowa. Can't think of a better place to do it. Well, I want to thank all of our sponsors. Definitely want to thank Right Now Roofing for their sponsorship for this series. Jam Printing and Promotions. Veterans for Life Foundation. Cruising Classics. And then a supporter of both GLR and VSRN Premier Racing Setups. I'm Eddie Smith. We're going to head on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a lot of fun. What a great race tonight. Thanks, Pat and Jamie, for their work in this series. And we will see y'all next week. It is going to be a lot of fun. So let's go playoff racing. What do you say?